Have you ever wondered why on some days you have this muffin top around your belly like a spare tire, and on some days you don't have that muffin top? And I'm talking about yesterday you had muffin top, then today you don't. Then tomorrow you will have muffin top again. So it seems random. Or how about on some days you get bloated and gassy, but on some days you don't? This has been a mystery for me because I labeled myself as a chronic burper. I'm always gassy. And I thought, is it just the hormones? Is it because I'm just having my period? Or I'm about to have my period, but still, weeks passed and my period isn't there and I'm still bloated. So in this video, I'll share with you a big aha moment for me when I figured this out. What's causing my bloating and gassy tummy, and also a cloudy urine at random days. So stick around and let's figure that out.
Hi, Jonah of Primal Thinker here, and I want to have a little disclaimer here that I'm not a doctor of any sorts. I'm just a girl in the internet trying to connect the dots, sharing my own experiences with you. And if you're okay with that, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so I can share my eureka moments with you.
So if you follow me in Instagram or Facebook, you know that I'm recently fascinated with Dave Asprey because he has a different perspective when it comes to our bodies. If the other diets are concerned with carbs, protein, and fat, Dave is concerned with how foods affect us. And I identify with him because I'm a computer science graduate like he is, and we approach problems like a very lazy person. We want to be efficient, and during those times I didn't know there's a term for that called hacking. And so the biohacking term was coined from Dave Asprey's field of hacking your own biology. On top of that, I've tried many different diets, name it, and probably I have tried that. And they work for the first few months, but I don't feel good. I feel like crap, and I'm not operating at my best. Then I found the low carb and ketogenic diet, which was great. But still, there's a missing piece in the puzzle I haven't figured out yet. And so that was the time I came across Dave Asprey and the idea of inflammation in his book. So this book, The Bulletproof Diet, just arrived yesterday because I want to really understand inflammation and other hacks for our own bodies. So the obvious ones, which is also present in the low carbs and ketogenic diet, the foods to avoid are sugar, processed food, and low quality oils, because these are causing inflammation to our bodies. These are the obvious ones. So I have eliminated these inflammatory foods from my diet, but still I experience occasional muffin tops and chronic burping, and I don't know why. I used to think that my talent was to burp whenever because my gut always gets gassy every time I eat. You've been eating clean but still you're looking fat? Listen carefully if you identify with this. The core principle we need to understand is every species has a defense mechanism for other species to stop eating them. For example, animals and of course humans can move, so they run and protect themselves and their youngsters from other animals, right? But how about plants? Plants, however, cannot move, and their only way to make you stop from eating them is to develop toxins. These toxins are meant to attack you and hurt you, when you eat them. So it's war using chemicals, like chemical warfare. And this makes sense why some plants could be poisonous, and if left in the wild, you should know which berries are poisonous and which are not. Otherwise, you'll die. And our ancestors look for the sweet tasting fruits and plants because that means it's safe to eat. So let's get more technical here. I'll throw some jargons again. I used to love this healthy leafy green, and you can guess. Spinach, yes. I used to love green smoothies with raw kale and spinach. It turns out that this, guys, contains oxalates. And oxalates love and bind with calcium, and together they form oxalic acid crystals. And these crystals could be deposited anywhere to your body. And one place to deposit them is your kidneys. And majority of the kidney stones is made from calcium and oxalate. So Dave Asprey recommends to cook these vegetables first before consuming, or avoid them altogether if you are sensitive. By the way, there are 4 categories of anti-nutrients causing inflammation. One of them is this, oxalates. If this video gets at least 10 likes, I will make another video discussing the 4 categories of anti-nutrients causing inflammation if you're interested with that. Okay, back to the discussion. So it turns out that I am sensitive to oxalates because here are the effects on me. Endless burping. I didn't even stop hours before sleeping. I can burp when I'm about to sleep. And what else? I noticed my urine to get cloudy. Then I did my research, and cloudy urine is usually an indicator that you have an infection. And my theory is these are the oxalic acids that made their way to my kidneys. That's why I'm producing cloudy urine. That's just my theory. And then it made me gassy and bloated. Feels like there's a lump here in my throat. And of course, a muffin top. It's annoying. Yeah. And then I first took the boiling of spinach route to reduce the oxalates, but it didn't make any difference for me, so that makes me think that I'm sensitive to oxalates. So moving forward, I could have a little spinach here and there, but if I know I'm facing or doing a big task for the day, it might be a good idea to avoid spinach, right? To save myself from burping and bloating. And that means I'm not meant to be Popeye after all. Okay, so that's just one example. You might be asking, what's in it for you? How can you apply this core principle that plants have this defense mechanism to develop toxins to protect themselves? So how would you know if a plant is safe for you or not? So do we stop eating plants altogether? If you are in a carnivore diet, yes, you cannot eat plants. Inflammation is actually the main reason why people in the carnivore diet prefer the carnivore diet. But if you're like me, who wants to maximize the benefits of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients from plants, listen to me now. If you're bloated your whole life, you might be suffering from a chronic inflammation, like majority of the population. The key is to know which kinds of foods causes your inflammation. Listen to this. Start tracking your food. Not the calories, okay? But the exact food. For example, spinach, or I ate kale yesterday. Things like that. and then assess how you feel after eating them. So the goal of this is to answer 2 questions. Number 1, what are the foods that makes you feel weak? What do I mean by that? If you still feel hungry and craving for something sweet or some junk food, and you become gassy and bloated for hours, that means you might want to avoid that food. That is your kryptonite food. Else, if you feel great, full, and satisfied, and you can forget about thinking of what's going to be the food for the next meal in the next 4 to 6 hours, your body is efficient in converting that food to energy. So keeping that food as a food that makes you feel good is the right thing. So I'd like to note that foods making you feel good, these are not candy, sweets, sugar that gives you a sudden boost, but I'm referring to foods that doesn't make you inflamed, okay? Dave Asprey listed down the suspect foods, and you're free to download this one from bulletproof.com and search for the Bulletproof Diet Roadmap. He listed down the suspect foods there, and it's a good place to start. Inflammation is pointed out study after study as the root cause of nearly all degenerative diseases. Acute inflammation, like being sore from the gym or your cheeks are swollen from tooth extraction surgery, is your body's response to protect you, actually. However, chronic inflammation, which is constantly subjecting your body to inflammation, to inflammatory foods, is the pathway to diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and cardiovascular diseases. You could start by knowing yourself better. Get to know yourself. Record which ones fuel you the best. Avoid eating kryptonite foods. Eat more of the foods that makes you feel better and stronger. And I guarantee you, you will lose that muffin top. There will be no random days. Thanks for watching. This has been a mystery for me. Is it the hormones? Is it because I